Welcome to Raw Tea Sessions, a space where we have the real, unfiltered conversations that people keep locked up.
And drink tea.
Yep, that too.
We are two survivors of childhood sexual abuse who are choosing to speak about what many people spend their lives trying to hide.
And we want this to be a place where survivors feel seen, understood, and empowered.
We want to show God's love to you in ways that you may have never seen it before.
And this podcast just isn't about what happened to us.
It's about grief, anger, hard conversations,
learning, growth,
healing, and reclaiming who we are.
And our hope is to be able to help you do the same.
Who's ready for the real story?
On today's podcast, we're going to be discussing boundaries.
Boundaries are another one of those things that we've talked about before, where we tend to have paradoxical reactions or responses, or life, what's the word I'm looking for? Takeaway, right. The way that we attack life. This is one of them that we do paradoxically.
Yes.
You are really good at boundaries.
And you are not.
And I am not. Not at all. I'm learning, but that's just not a tool that I have a lot of success with yet.
So I believe that my peace comes before other people's feelings.
Yeah, that's big.
And healthy people are not offended by boundaries.
Right. And logically that all makes sense to me.
Right.
And I'm happy for you that you believe that and can do that.
I am a people pleaser, and that is something that we both have in common.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do not have the slightest problem with walking away from somewhere, something, or someone for any reason when I realize that it is not healthy for me.
That's an amazing tool to be comfortable using. And I've seen you do it. And it's a beautiful thing to witness. You being able to put up those boundaries of this is not working. This is not for me. And it's not like you just slam a boundary in someone's face and say, go away. It's after conversations. It's after trying to repair. It's after trying to come to some semblance of both of you being able to coexist still together.
Mm-hmm. God forbid it be about someone else.
Right.
Someone that I love.
Right.
We fight then.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a really cool thing to witness. And for me, I think I learned just as much from that as our conversations and the repeated practice I keep getting.
So what's an example of your poor boundary setting?
Poor boundary setting? Come on.
What's an example?
I let you talk to me like that.
What? Okay, what's an example of having a challenge setting boundaries?
Probably my biggest example is my relationship with my mom and how long I let it continue, where it was constant disrespect, where I was walking on eggshells.
In your own home because she lived with you.
Right. And where my family suffered. And that's really ultimately where it came down to. I was able to set that boundary in the first place. Because with her, a lot of times that's probably my biggest place where I learned that boundaries were not a privilege that I had. They were not something I was allowed to use.
You learned that from your mom?
That's probably the biggest messenger of it, yes. So if I would set one, if I would say something, it would just get trampled over and guilted out of and convinced to change my mind about that boundary because I was wrong for my boundary. And ultimately, where I was able to set it is when I started to see my kids be affected. Mm-hmm. And that is the one area where I am successful with boundaries. Cross my kids, hurt someone who I am here to protect, and now I can set a boundary. If I am the only one who benefits, it's not a decision I'm comfortable making. But as soon as it involves someone that I am here needing to be protective of, then at that point. So that's ultimately what led me to that boundary of no contact right now, which is where I am. But probably, 20 years in the making.
Right.
Over, and I did attempt it at one other time of just taking a break from the constant manipulation and control and really basically gaslighting. So that is an area I've struggled with for a long time, setting that boundary, and here we are right now, and it's still one that I question and
Struggle with on a daily basis.
it really is. It really truly is.
But has it benefited you?
Yes. And it's benefited my kids, and it's benefited my family as a whole. Everyone can breathe again. We're not walking through our own house wondering, wait a minute, did I say that wrong? Did I do that wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Funny to say, should I not have washed these dishes? Will that have offended her?
And just the whole dynamic of everything that you do and all the decisions that you make, you don't have to run everything by her, and you don't have to
worry that she's going to be upset.
Yeah, and you don't have to accommodate someone who's difficult to accommodate.
Right.
All the time.
Right. Right. Because no matter what, something I said hurt her feelings.
Right.
And it could be as simple as I washed the dishes and she was planning on it.
And it's not even that it rightfully so hurt her feelings.
Right.
It's that she manipulated it or gaslighted it,
Right.
lit it, or something.
Right.
Some sort of control over you and your feelings.
Right. And I am the older of the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
I should have been skilled at this by now. But I'm learning.
Well, I have figured out that the older I get, the more I realize how much around me is unhealthy. Such as the relationship with my father.
Yeah.
And just how having one is so damaging to my peace.
Just having that relationship with him at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And damaging to my mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he wasn't my father, I wouldn't have thought twice about cutting him out of my life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought twice.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. But Jesus never said family over everything.
You're right.
Jesus never said allow your family to mistreat you, disrespect you, and abuse you because they're your family.
You're right.
Absolutely not.
No.
And in fact, in Matthew 10:36, it basically says that your own enemies are going to be in your household.
Yeah.
Your own enemies are going to be in your household.
Wow.
Which is crazy. It's a crazy concept.
It is.
And both of us have found that to be very true.
Yeah. Yep. And what a sobering thought that is, that there are many, many, many people in that same boat.
Yep.
And yet somehow, I'll speak for myself, I feel guilty acting on that thought. Somehow I feel like the bad guy for being the one to put my foot down about that and be like, nope, you know what? My house is going to be made of peace.
Right. Jesus never said, let your family mistreat you, disrespect you, and abuse you because they're your family. Never.
No.
And all of those things, mistreat you, disrespect you, and abuse you, those are things that enemies do.
Right. Right. They are certainly not things that people who love us do.
No, absolutely not. I made a picture for you.
Okay.
It's in your house, on your walls.
Yes.
And it's of all of our memories together, going on family vacations and doing all the things, my relationship development with your kids and you, and all the things. And it says that family isn't always where you come from, but in fact, it's who you choose.
Yes. And we are chosen family.
And it's true.
Right.
It's true because, like I've said twice now, Jesus never said that family could do that. They never said that he never said that it's okay just because they're family.
Right. What a thought that is, of just realizing that not only did Jesus never say that, but that he specifically said that it's enemies who are
In your
treating
household.
you that way, and that
Mhm.
can be in your own household. And talk about a need for boundaries then.
I know.
So, with the enemy living in your own household, what boundaries do you have in place with your dad right now?
The enemy did live in my household when I was growing up, and it was my father. For multiple people, not just me.
Yes.
And boundaries for children is a difficult topic, right?
Right.
But as an adult, and I moved out and I created my own life, for my family in general, I have always been like the glue that kept us together.
Right.
And I took that job very seriously. And then I realized, for what?
Right. And it was even told to you. In fact, specifically by your father.
Yes,
that you
my
were the
father
glue.
told me that I was the glue that held my
Yes.
family together.
Yes.
And when he said that to me, that is when I really looked into it. And I was like, what
Wait,
does that
why?
even mean?
Right.
Like, why do I take this job so seriously?
Mhm.
Why out of everyone was I given the job? Why isn't it my parents' job to keep the family together?
Right. Right.
So after like looking at our relationship and how unhealthy it was and how I looked at it with rose-colored glasses. I didn't hold him accountable for anything, and I just moved on with my life as though it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
I looked into that further, and mixed with my father's mental illness.
Yes. Which we will go into that topic, mental health and all of that, on a future podcast.
Yes. But mixed with that, I decided that it's best for me to have no contact.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also a super private person. I will fight people who relay. If you are trusted to have my information, then you are trained properly to have that information.
Uh-huh.
And if you have broken that trust, you no longer will hold any information about me.
Right.
So not only do I not talk to him, see him, or anything like that, he also doesn't know anything about me or my life.
Right.
And he cannot get that information from anyone who he has access to.
Right. Because the people who he has access to do not have that information.
Correct.
Right.
My privacy settings were updated, and he was not granted access.
Yep. Which is a boundary.
Yes.
And it's a healthy boundary that you've put up to protect your peace.
100%. And it's definitely made my life easier.
Yes.
Because, like you said, the walking on eggshells, I did that to a degree.
Yes.
And it is not like that anymore. And I have the space and the time and the everything to just feel and be angry.
Yes.
Healed me is meaner. Healed me is so much meaner. Because then you really start to think about how wrong everything was.
And do you want to go back to that mentality? No. So this is what I need to do to not.
Correct.
See, and that's that paradoxical reaction, right? Of I have had a very hard time with that boundary. I've gone back and forth. And we take, as a family, we take a big summer trip. As a family, my nuclear family, my family here. And we take a big summer trip to go visit our extended family. And just this summer, I've decided and I've put my boundaries up, and for my mental health and my healing process and everything that I'm doing, I'm not going. And we've decided that that's going to be my protection, to not be walking on eggshells as I'm going through this whole process of figuring out where I stand and who I am. And
When did your no contact start with your mom?
3 months ago?
Very recently.
Yes.
So to continue to stand in those boundaries.
Yes. I am protecting that by not going. Because otherwise that would be a tricky thing to go there and have contact, because it would be inevitable with just the dynamics that are going on with my family. It would be inevitable that I would have contact, which would be confusing to kids and
confusing to her ultimately.
Yes, would send the wrong message. And so we've really just decided that to protect that is a boundary we're putting in place for this summer. That's something I never could have done before.
It is an incredible thing to see growth in you.
Yeah. And it doesn't come without its sense of guilt. It doesn't come without its sense of I am choosing me over other people's feelings. But you know what?
One day it will come with all that.
Yeah. And
boundaries are so necessary, because without them, harm gets minimized and the truth gets silenced.
Yes.
And that's polar opposite of what we need in the world right now.
Right? It's polar opposite of what we're doing with this whole podcast. Our whole purpose of this is to not be silenced.
Right.
Read that again.
Without boundaries, harm gets minimized and truth gets silenced.
You know, just went through this whole thing with this sports team that one of my kiddos is on, and some major disrespect that happened. And I wound up putting up a boundary, a pretty big one. And I'm sitting here feeling bad about it, but the reality is, in putting up the boundary, I communicated the disrespect that happened. I communicated that it wasn't okay and that wouldn't stand for it. If I hadn't, that harm would have been minimized. No one would have known. It wouldn't have been spoken up about. It couldn't be fixed. It couldn't be, because I did try and address it first with words, right? We did try and work through it, and it wasn't able to be, and instead it escalated. That would have just been silenced. And here I am, all evening long, fretting about this boundary that I put up that really was absolutely necessary.
And remember, the only people who are going to be upset with you for your boundaries are the people who directly benefit from you not having them.
Yes. Yes. And that is really, and again, I go back to, if I'm the only one that benefits from putting up a boundary, that is still okay, because the only people that would be upset by it are the people that are happy that I'm being harmed, happy that I'm being
silenced.
Yeah, exactly.
And setting boundaries isn't about getting someone else to do anything. It's about telling someone what you are going to do if their behavior doesn't change.
Right. It is, that's the thing, right? Setting boundaries isn't a punishment, and it's not even about control. It is literally an act of self-care. It is putting your needs as these are important too. And it doesn't mean you go step on people's toes. It's not, but it does mean that if communication has happened, sometimes not even, sometimes it doesn't need communication.
I agree.
Yeah, there's times that it's just boom, done.
With a certain amount of disrespect and
exactly, like
and mistreating
anything, right? In those circumstances, or in the circumstance where
there was absolutely no reason that I needed to explain to my father why we were doing no contact.
Exactly.
Well, I think that we have a lot more to discuss in boundaries.
Yes, I do too. I think that we could probably have a part 2.
I agree.
I'd be interested to see if anyone had anything to add. anything they wanted to email, any questions, any concerns, any thoughts about boundary setting
Or ideas.
or ideas. Yeah. Because
It's not to say I'm a pro,
you're a pro.
but I am very educated in this.
You are. You know what you're doing. And I am a pro for telling somebody else what I understand boundaries.
You would have cut your mom off years ago if you were telling someone else to do it.
Right. Oh my gosh. It would have been done.
Mm-hmm.
But just when it comes down to my own, that's where I need my strength to go up.
And I look forward to our podcast about identity.
Oh my goodness, that builds right off of all of this, or leads into it, a little bit of both. So next week we're going to talk about boundaries, but in the meantime, any thoughts you have, any questions, anything you want to add to it, please email us, contact us on TikTok. We'll leave all that information in a little bit. We'll look forward to having that contact. And if you are a survivor listening to this, we want you to know that you're not alone.
So many survivors grow up carrying guilt, shame, and so much more.
And none of that is yours to carry.
Healing is possible and worth everything it takes to get there.
We love you, God loves you, and we're not giving up on this journey with you.
If you or someone you know is a survivor in need of support, the RAIN Network is a great first step and is available to you anytime.
You can text HOPE to 64637. And like we said, if you have any questions or comments, find us at Unfiltered Tea Podcast on TikTok.
Or our email is rawteasessions@gmail.com.
Until next time.
Bye.
See ya.